What's good, Guardians? Today we're taking a look at a Titan build that is not only really fun, but also has fantastic ad clear. I've been using Ergo Sum as of late, and especially while grinding the Solstice bounties, as you can see in this clip right here. So I figured let's find a great build that can get the most out of this incredible weapon. I'm calling this build Thor's Touch. Maybe a little bit weird, but we're gonna roll with it. In less time than an average episode of SpongeBob, we're gonna break down everything from the subclass and mods to the weapon and gear, and of course, a dim and MOBALYTICS link will be down in the description below if you wanna go ahead and save it to your own Guardian. Now let's get into this. First up, let's talk about our subclass selection. For this build, we're actually gonna be using Arc. Going back to Arc here, it pairs perfectly with our weapon, and of course, the super ability we're gonna be using today is gonna be Thunder Crash. It's an absolute classic, and why wouldn't you want to hurtle through the air like a missile and crash onto targets? Not only that, but you can use it fairly quickly and get it over with. For the abilities here, we're going to start with that class ability. I'm using Thruster, that way we can use it quickly, and using that quickly is going to help us get our grenade back even faster with a couple mods we're going to be using it a little bit later. Then we have Strafe Lift for the movement ability. You guys can choose whatever you like, but this is what I like to go with. And then after that, the melee ability. I chose to use Thunderclap. To be quite honest with you, while running this build, I don't know if I've used a melee a single time, but definitely have it on there. And then lastly, an ability you will use quite a bit here is going to be that Storm Grenade. Storm Grenades are buffed recently. Not only that, but they have a really good aspect that's going to be helping us out here, which is going to be Touch of Thunder. What Touch of Thunder does is it increases any functionality from flashbangs, pulses, lightning grenades, or storm grenades. The one that we're going to be using again is going to be the Storm Grenade. So after detonating, it creates a roaming thundercloud that tracks nearby targets and fire bolts of lightning at the foes underneath them. This pairs perfectly with the kind of build we're going with. And then for the second aspect, we have Knockout. Critically wounding a target or breaking their shield infuses your melee attacks with arc energy and increases your melee range and damage for a short time. And defeating targets with melee attacks makes you amplified and restores a portion of your health. Defeating more powerful combatants increases the amount of health restored. But unfortunately, there's really nothing else to try here besides Juggernaut. You can definitely give it a try and see if it tickles your fancy. Doesn't really do much for me. But now let's go ahead and move on to the fragments here. First one we got is Spark of Discharge. Arc weapon final blows have a chance to spawn an ionic trace, which an ionic trace is going to go ahead and travel towards you. When picked up, it's going to go ahead and give you ability energy, which is going to be very nice for getting your grenade back. Then we have Spark of Beacons, which while you're amplified, your arc special or heavy weapon final blows create a blinding explosion, meaning you're going to be amplified pretty much the entire time with this build, and whenever you get an Ergo Sum lightning kill, it's going to go ahead and make blinding explosions to everybody around you. Number 3 here, we got Spark of Resistance. While surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. This is going to be for maybe a little bit harder content that you're running this with. And then lastly, Spark of Shock. Your arc grenade jolts targets. This is going to be huge as well for stunning champions, as well as enemies taking additional damage because they're jolted. Now let's take a look at our seasonal artifact and some mods that would go perfect with this build. Luckily, because we're using the Ergo Sum, there's actually quite a few mods here that are going to be handy for us. Just like Overload Sword. Overload champions are going to be able to be stunned by our Ergo Sum, and that one also pairs perfectly with Blade Stamina. Rapidly defeating combatants with a sword refunds some ammo. This is going to be very easy, so that way whenever you proc your Arc Conductor, you just run past a bunch of enemies, it's going to kill them, and it's going to give you refunded ammo. It works out very, very well. Not only that, we also got Galvanic Armor, so while you have an Arc subclass equipped, incoming damage by combatants is reduced more while amplified. So this stacks with that fragment that we have as well. So this just means we're going to be able to stay alive even more. And the exotic we're going to be using is also going to come into that as well. But lastly, I chose to use Radiant Orbs. We're going to be creating tons of orbs and picking up tons of orbs. So making you radiant is going to be very useful. That way you do a little bit of extra damage there. Next, we're going to go ahead and optimize our armor with the right stats and mods that synergizes with what we're rocking. Stats, as always, I'm going to go ahead and keep it simple here. We're looking for resilience. That 30% damage reduction is something that is so incredibly strong you cannot miss it. And then second here we have Discipline. Discipline is going to be fantastic because we're trying to get our grenade back as much as possible, because even when you have your sword out, you're going to be able to toss your grenade, which is going to get to do extra damage to whatever you're attacking. Now onto the armor here, and we're going to start with the helmet like always, and this is actually where our exotic lies. It's going to be Precious Scars. Precious Scars is fantastic, especially with its armor perk where final blows from weapons matching a damage type of your super create a burst of healing around you that grants allies restoration. After reviving or being revived, you gain an aura that provides overshields to you and nearby allies. So this is going to be very helpful for whenever you proc your Ergo Sum. It's going to be able to kill enemies around you, and then it's going to heal you because of that. The armor mods, I chose to use Special Ammo Finder, so that way you're going to be able to get special ammo for your sword back even faster. And then second, we have 2 harmonic siphon mods, rapid arc weapon final blows create an orb of power. Onto the gauntlets now, I have a firepower mod, which grenade final blows create an orb of power, a bolstering detonation mod, which grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a grenade, and then I had an extra point, so I chose to use fastball here, which increases grenade throw distance, but if you have more energy, you can absolutely use something else here. Going on the chest piece here, I chose to use 2 charged up mod, which increases the number of stacks of armor charge we can carry by 1, so it's going to increase it by 2 for us. And then we have harmonic resistance, which reduces incoming arc damage from combatants, but you can go ahead and choose another resist mod there for you if you'd like. And then for the leg armor, we have a recuperation mod, which replenishes health each time you pick up an orb of power. Gonna be something a little bit extra to help us get our health back even faster if we need the help. Then we have elemental charge, which collecting an ionic trace for us has an escalated chance to give you an armor charge. Just another little bonus way to get that armor charge there, because we will be getting ionic traces. And then lastly, we do have an arc weapon surge mod here, so we can get bonus damage with our arc weapons. You can absolutely go ahead and trade out elemental charge, because maybe we won't need it as much, so you can get bonus damage on your arc weapon, but I'm going to leave that to you. And then lastly, we got the Titan mark here, 1 Barma mod, which reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability. Then we got special finisher, which this one's going to be pretty important. Whenever we have 3 stacks of armor charge, we're going to be able to finish an enemy, and it's going to spawn special ammo, not only for us, but for the whole team. So it's going to be fantastic, because we're going to get more Ergo Sum ammo if we need it. And then lastly here, powerful attraction, which automatically collects nearby orbs of power whenever you would activate your class ability. So whenever you use your thruster, not only are you going to get your grenade energy back, but you're also going to be able to collect any nearby orbs too. Now let's talk weapons. Of course, what the whole build is around is going to be the Ergo Sum. Ergo Sum is a unique sword which not only takes special ammo, but also has multiple exotic traits and frames it can come with. For the frames, we're looking for either the wave or caster frame, which I personally like the caster one. And then of course for the exotic trait, we're actually looking for one specifically, which is going to be Arc Conductor. What that does is powered heavy attacks charge the wielder, enabling them to resist arc damage and chain lightning to nearby targets. Arc Conductor is incredibly powerful right now. This sword's incredibly fun to use, so in my opinion, this is the most fun version of the sword. For the other 2 weapons, you can really choose to use whatever you like. I just chose to throw on a Midnight Coupe because I just got one that I really liked with Firefly and kinetic trimmers. But realistically, you're not finding yourself using that very much. Something that you might use a little bit more might be that heavy weapon if you're doing boss damage or trying to knock out a champion even faster. I like to use the Song of Yu because not only is it a really good machine gun, but it also does arc damage as well, which is going to benefit from that little bonus damage we got on our leg mod. Lastly, let's go ahead and talk about the incredibly difficult gameplay loop we have here. You're going to want to use your heavy attack, wait 5 seconds while Arc Conductor is doing its thing, and then use your heavy attack again. That's it. If you want to use your sword for normal sword swings at harder enemies or champions or something like that, and you get low on ammo, just finish an enemy and you're going to get free ammo back. It really is that easy. It's pretty much it for that one. Pretty much the only gameplay loop you need here. And that's pretty much it for today's build guide. With this setup, you're going to be able to electrify everything in your path, and this really makes for a fun and easy build. It's not really made for the hardest of endgame content here, but not all builds have to be. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content from me, and let me know what you want to see next in the comments below. And until next time, stay safe, Guardians.